Hello everyone, this is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello everyone. Today we're at Popeyes. It is very dark out. It's 5 o'clock, daylight savings is upon us, and we are here to try the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Now, I've heard many reviews about this. Some are good, some are bad. It seems to try to counter Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich. Right off the bat here, I can see that the portion size is actually a little bit bigger. Wouldn't you agree, Joe?
Yeah, no, this is a lot bigger. So we also got biscuits.
We also have 2 biscuits, complimentary of Popeyes, obviously. They're known for their biscuits. And right off the bat, I can see they have mayo on here, which Chick-fil-A does not have. Pickles.
They have the standard pickles, which Chick-fil-A has.
Obviously, pickles are ideal in a chicken sandwich.
The sandwich is a lot larger, and the bun is smaller.
So, I guess we're just gonna dive right in.
Yeah, dive right in. So right off the bat, you can tell. See, this one has a lot more. This one has a lot more breading. It's a lot crustier. See, there's a lot more breading compared to the Chick-fil-A sandwich. It's a lot crunchier. We get more crunchy feelings. Also, the patty is much thicker. It's hard to see from here, but the patty is much thicker. See, compared to the Chick-fil-A, which is a lot smaller. The breading is a lot like fried chicken breading, whereas the Chick-fil-A breading is much different.
I like the mayo. It really,
the mayo is a nice touch.
It's really a touch that I never knew I wanted.
Yeah, I'm generally not really a mayo person, but the mayo is really what seals the deal for me.
Right here.
Now, I can certainly see this being a very big contender against Chick-fil-A.
Obviously, Popeyes is known for their chicken, and they incorporated it into this chicken sandwich. And
Yeah.
I can say that as Popeyes is a major chicken brand, and while they have some controversy in the past, I think they've redeemed themselves with this chicken sandwich.
Also, I think even though this sandwich is inspired, this sandwich doesn't really seem to be stolen. Well, it looks like Popeyes put their own flair on it by adding a different kind of breading compared to Chick-fil-A, which I quite like.
Pickles really give it that flavor that all chicken sandwiches need, and the pickles are obviously there. Chicken, it has its Popeye taste. I've never went to Popeyes, and usually I'm pretty experienced with most of this stuff. But this chicken is really good. Chick-fil-A sandwiches are usually pretty good as well. Chick-fil-A has their own type of chicken. Popeyes has their own type of chicken, and I prefer Popeyes on this one.
Certainly, as someone who has, I've actually only been to Popeyes once before. You know, this is actually a very big contender. If this was the first time I've ever been to Popeyes, which it pretty much is, I would certainly come again, especially for this chicken sandwich. So let's move on to the biscuit.
Yeah, let's go to this.
Let's try the biscuit.
Hopefully this will be a nice redeeming quality from Sonic's fried Oreos.
So we didn't get any butter or anything.
But I've heard that the butter actually it doesn't need to be kneaded really.
Yeah, it's because they're buttered biscuits. So let's just dive right in. Right off the bat, you can tell this is a very doughy biscuit. You know, very doughy biscuit. You can put this on anything.
Yeah. It sticks to the top of your mouth, and that's really good sometimes, especially when Popeyes incorporates it into the use of chicken. Obviously, biscuits with chicken are a very good combo, and Popeyes usually can incorporate this really well. And I really like the buttery taste. It really makes you not really want butter. It's obviously up to you.
This is definitely okay without butter. Places like KFC, you feel like you need to put something in the rolls because they're very dry, you know? This is a very moist, kind of filling roll. So I'm gonna go back for another bite of the sandwich. So since we've given so many compliments. Let's start with some things that aren't so great about it. What do you not like about this sandwich?
Well, for one, sometimes I feel like the inconsistencies, whereas your sandwich, your chicken seems to be a little bit thinner. Mine seems to be bigger, as you can see right there.
Oh goodness.
The chicken is very thin. Now, that is not a bad thing, but sometimes it can be a little too much in the mouth as I am eating around it to eventually lead up to the eventual big bite. But the consistency is a problem. Obviously, it's a fast food restaurant. You can't always have a perfect food quality, but that's just a small nitpick. The other thing I have is the bread. While it is very similar to Chick-fil-A's buns, and Chick-fil-A's buns are very, very quality, it's a little bit downgraded, which it's barely noticeable. I mean, if someone was a connoisseur about this, they would obviously have something to say. But in my opinion, I think the bread is just a little too thin. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The chicken kind of overpowers the bread sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, the pickles. I feel like it's a good amount of pickles, but pickles are a little too big.
They're kind of large. They're very thick. You know, this pickle right here, it's hard to see, but this pickle right here is very thick.
Yeah, you can see my pickle out sticking there.
So, these are some things that I'm not really a big fan of. Like you said, I'm not really a fan of the bun, only because the bun is kind of thin. It's like a butter bun, which is good, but it doesn't really fit the whole sandwich. As we showed in the beginning, it only takes up like 3/4 of the sandwich. There's a large portion of the sandwich that sticks out that you have to kind of eat around before you get to the bun. So if the bun was a little bit larger to encompass the entire thing, I think that would be a lot more balanced. And especially, or if the bun was a little bit thicker, so you got a little more bun for your bun.
Also, they do put mayo on the sandwich, and as I really said, it's a thing I never knew I wanted. But I feel like the mayo is just not as much as there as I want it to be. Now, I'm personally a mayo fan. I know a lot of people disagree, but I feel like there needs to be more mayo, or at least an option to add more mayo. I'm sure there could be, but in my opinion, this needs a little bit more mayo to really give it that taste. I mean, right now it's perfect, but in my opinion, I think I could use more mayo.
Yeah,
That's just personal.
definitely.
Up to personal opinion.
Yeah, as someone who isn't really a mayo fan myself, I kind of like how the mayo flavor is kind of underdone because there's not too much mayo. Like when there's too much mayo, it's just gross. It's just kind of like a mayo mess. But this is very balanced. You know.
Just a bite of the biscuit here. The biscuit comes in 2 pieces. I've almost eaten one. The other one's still pretty much full.
Also, one other thing about the biscuit, we didn't really talk about this in the beginning, but at most restaurants, especially like Hardee's or KFC, when you break apart the biscuit, like the whole chunks will come off. But this was a very smooth break. See how smooth this is? This is almost a perfect half of the biscuit.
As you can see, the circle is perfectly maintained. There's really no cracks. The consistency is still there. It's just split in half. And as he said, normally if you go to a restaurant, the biscuit is usually, when it's broken in half, it's not usually equal on both sides. But if you were to add, let's say, one biscuit, and you had 2 people, this could be evenly distributed, which is really nice.
So here's one more problem that I have. The chicken is very large, so as you get to the bottom of the bun, you can find it hard because the chicken can slide out because there is not enough breading to contain the very thick chicken patty that's on it.
Yeah, I've also noticed that the mayo seems to be running to the back. I think the chicken actually pushes it back, which is not something I've ever seen, but it's not something I really have a problem with. But I feel like look at this. You can see a lot of the mayo has run onto the back of the bun. And there's actually more bun than there's chicken here because there wasn't actually enough chicken. The chicken is just a big portion size, and the bun kind of overpowers it, which isn't a bad thing, but some people might have a problem.
Yeah, I like how on the edges it's very nice and thin. There's a lot of breading, but towards the middle, like you said earlier, it's very thick. You know, like I ended up with a massive, like just huge chicken chunk that was left over because there's way more chicken than there is breading in the center.
You can see a little piece fell off here from the chicken. Obviously, that's just due to the little piece that they have at the end.
So let's just dive right on. Here's the final verdict.
So, what do you think?
I personally like it. I definitely come back again for the sandwich. As someone who doesn't really frequent Popeyes very often, I think this is a very delicious chicken sandwich. My only issue is that this is, I think, more expensive than the.
It is.
This is more expensive. Now you do get more chicken, but honestly, I kind of like a very crunchy chicken sandwich. You know, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard distinction. But I definitely come here again. I do honestly prefer the Chick-fil-A sandwich over this.
Yeah, in my opinion, let's just go into the restaurant aspect here. So, Popeye's chicken sandwich, while being very portion size, is a little more for your buck, and it's a cost more. And obviously, people sometimes are turned away from it at a larger price. But personally, I really like the sandwich. I'd obviously come back, as he said. It's a really good sandwich. But I feel like Chick-fil-A has a really friendly environment that you usually want to come back to, while Popeyes is sometimes keen to not be the most friendly. Like, you can go to a Chick-fil-A and feel right. That's really what they're known for. Chick-fil-A is trying to adopt the old habit of clean fast food.
Like a Starbucks, almost.
Yeah,
like a coffee shop.
Like Starbucks. And while Popeyes has the nice flavor aspect to it, I feel like Chick-fil-A takes the cake on the restaurant aspect, the customer service aspect, and pretty much everything about the chicken sandwich. So, in my opinion, this is kind of hypocritical, but I actually prefer this chicken sandwich. But I mean, if I were to rate them, I'd give the Chick-fil-A sandwich a 6.5, and I think I'd give this one a 6.51. They're just so even; it's hard to tell.
Yeah. If I had to rate this sandwich, if 1 was the worst chicken sandwich I've ever eaten, and 10 was the best one, I'd probably rate this, I don't know, a 7. Like a 7 for me at least. And then, well, as my average Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, spicy or original, is usually closer to like a 7.5. Now, I'd have to eat more of these, to even it out, because this is a very new product. You don't eat this very often.
Yeah. Going on to that, as you all know, the chicken sandwich has been gone for 4 months, up until last Sunday. It was just restocked, but that obviously turned away a lot of people that they wanted to get their hands on this new famous chicken sandwich, and they couldn't. So that's turned away, but I feel like they bounced back. The chicken sandwich is here to stay, and yeah. So that's our review. If you all enjoyed,
Yeah. Thank you for watching.
remember to buy the My Disappointment is Immeasurable merch in the description, and catch you next time. Bye.